This is absolutely brutal. As we get an update on Vincent Trocheck and his health status, we're going to break that down, as well as two players in particular that will define everything for the New York Rangers this season. And we're going to break down exactly why Alexis Lafreniere and Igor Shesterkin hold the keys to the Rangers' success in their hands. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit our goal of 9,000 subscribers. Shout out to all the 8,000 of you, or well over 8,000 of you, who are subscribed to the channel and watching the videos every day. This channel is built for blue shirt fandom, and it is the place to be for all your daily New York Rangers news. But let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. As we saw last night, Vincent Trocheck left the game with an injury, and obviously you never want to see that. He left with an upper body injury, and that was announced after by Rangers PR. And obviously big part of this team. I don't have to go into the type of player that, Vincent Trocheck is. And poor guy, man, he's dealing with this upper body injury now. He's already wearing the fishbowl. Poor guy dealing with some injuries. Now, we get this from Molly Walker and another update and a quote from Mike Sullivan post-game. Vincent Trocheck is still being evaluated for an upper body injury, and Mike Sullivan says that there's no other update right now. We get another update from Colin Stevenson as well. We'll get to that in a second, but I do want to jump into this quote from Mike Sullivan post-game on the injury specifically, and he said that there is no update specifically, but he's being evaluated for an upper body injury right now, and he said, I don't have anything else. And the reason this is a little concerning, at least to me and some Rangers fans, is because if you take a look at this from Colin Stevenson just this morning, his new article, go check it out on X, he wrote that the Rangers actually canceled practice because that's what coaches do sometimes when you win a game, and pretty soundly, and some of the players had big games. So cancel practice on Friday. So we're not actually going to get an update until tomorrow on whether or not he's playing in Pittsburgh against the Penguins in a revenge game, and Mike Sullivan's first game back in Pittsburgh on Saturday. So we're going to keep you up to date on the channel here with everything that's happening with Vincent Trocheck. But let me tell you personally, it's not that it's not a big deal. He's a significant piece to this team, but they're not making it sound like he's going to be out long term or anything like that. He didn't return to the game, which is clearly not a good sign. But for the time being, if he does miss a game or some time, I think the worst case scenario would be you move Mika Zibanejad to center, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to put Juuso Parssinen back at third line center because he has been scratched to start the season. And Noah Laba had a horrific turnover in last night's game, so I wonder if Mike Sullivan's looking at that and he goes, enough of that maybe. But now with this injury, if Trocheck doesn't play, Parssinen goes probably on the third line or something like that. We figure that out, and a couple guys move up. Well, you figure it out on the fly. That'll be interesting to see what Mike Sullivan does with the lines. But I think, Mika, there is a possibility maybe he moves to center for a game or two. That would really throw a couple things out of whack. So pretty big deal here. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully he's playing Saturday. But want to get to a couple other things with the Rangers. Alexis Lafreniere and Igor Shesterkin hold the keys to success this season in their hands. They need Lafreniere to be amazing this year, and obviously they didn't score a goal in the opening game at home, but yesterday he opens the scoring. He outweights the goaltender, and I thought this stat was incredible from Statboy Steven. The Rangers all time are 70 wins, 11 losses, and 4 overtime losses when Alexis Lafreniere scores a goal. They need this guy to score more goals. Look at that record when he scores, and he had multiple slumps last year. I wouldn't even call it multiple slumps. He did not have a good season after signing that contract. He needs to be electric this season, and he started off in a good way. Obviously, nobody scored right the other night on Tuesday night, but in Buffalo had a pretty good game. And there was a couple times, he was making things happen. He's in on the forecheck, right? He's turning pucks over. Not himself. He's forcing the other team to turn pucks over. And a lot of people said, hey, it's the Buffalo Sabres. Listen, it's the NHL. The Pittsburgh Penguins weren't supposed to beat the New York Rangers the other night, and they weren't supposed to beat the New York Islanders, right? Like, this is the thing. The Penguins are 2-0. Like, you can't predict anything on any given night in the NHL. It's just the way it is. And again, like I said, outweighting the goaltender. Need more of this out of Lafreniere this year. And I find that he's more aggressive. He is playing more aggressive, which is a great sign. And again, I have to give shout outs to Carson Soucy after last night as well. We'll get to Carson Soucy at the end of the episode. But the man of the hour, the guy who deserves all the praise for last night, And again, Lafreniere, I thought he had a good game. Couple guys had good games. Mika was kind of buzzing again, which is good, encouraging signs, right? But Igor Shesterkin is the man for this team. How Igor goes is how this team goes, and he was good last night, right? So you'll love to see that for Igor Shesterkin. We'll get into some stats in a second. I wanted to pull up Alexis Lafreniere speaking out on his goaltender, and he said that he's unreal. Year after year, he's that guy for us. Try to get him a little bit less work, but he's been unreal again. And Shesterkin also spoke out after the game. He said, our players play in front of me so good. A lot of great plays. I always see the puck, and they make my job easy. And he makes a lot of saves, right? He made 36 saves last night to earn that shutout. But after watching, a lot of the game and a lot of where the shots were coming from, and even watching the highlights over, the Rangers defense, while they look sometimes like they're not attacking, they're just letting Igor see the puck. And I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, especially last night. It worked out in their favor. But, if the Sabres are just going to keep shooting and other teams are just going to keep shooting at him, let him see the puck, let him make the save. His save percentage is going to go up. All of these things are going to see more shots, that's for sure. But, if they're just floating it on, Igor is one of the best goaltenders in the league, if not the best goaltender in the league. If he sees it, he's going to stop it. So you can see this. I thought this was incredible. 22 career shutouts for Igor Shesterkin, and 22 shutouts since 2020-2021, which is tied for the second most amongst NHL goaltenders, current NHL goaltenders. So this guy's been unbelievable. Mike Sullivan was joking around saying he's glad that, Igor's finally on his team and he doesn't have to coach teams that are shooting against Igor, because he's the best goaltender in the league. And, a lot of people talk about Connor Hellebuck. Look what Connor Hellebuck does in the playoffs. Shesterkin is the same all the time. It does not matter on what game. He is elite. And like I mentioned, 36 shots faced, 36 saves. Left to see that. So Lafreniere, and listen, I say they're the keys, right? A lot of people are going to say, what about Panarin? What about Mika? He's got to score. What about JT Miller, the captain? These guys got to score. They need some offense from their back end with Adam Fox, right? These are all great points. But look at the lineup. You're missing Chris Kreider now from a couple years ago, like all that production, right? You're missing a couple guys now. You need Will Cooley to step up, right? That's another guy. But Lafreniere, the money that he's making, he needs to score a lot of points this year. He needs to look hungry, right? All of these things. He needs to play aggressive. He is a key for this team's success. If he's not going this year, if he has another lackluster season, they will not find success. Igor, how he goes is how this team goes. They need him to be good. He has always been good. They need the defense to be good in front of him, of course. And I think that they were last night. They were pretty good. And the last person I want to touch on here, because we've been giving him a lot of flack on the channel through the offseason, is Carson Soucy. And these are a couple notes from the game. Feel free to pause. Peter Baugh, obviously, always with the great breakdowns and the articles. Go check out his work, of course. But Carson Soucy, as you can see here, and I'll make it bigger for you guys, third in the impact score chart last night. He had credit where credit's due, man. He had a good game. Great keep in there. I have to give credit to Borgen. Great keep in by Carson Soucy on the first goal. And then on Carson Soucy's goal, great keep in by Borgen over to him. He makes a great shot. Some patience, some poise. So listen, I'm not a big fan of that defense pairing. I feel like once they start playing real tough competition in the league, that's going to get exposed. They probably will have to do something about that at some point. But for the time being in this game, credit where credit's due. You had a good game. So let me know in the comments what you think about Vincent Trocheck's injury. Hopefully it's nothing long-term. The language that they're using, it's hard to kind of read between the lines at this point. Hopefully he doesn't miss any time. If he does, I would imagine Juuso Parsonen's coming into the lineup. What does that mean for Noah Laba? It was only one bad turnover. I imagine he stays in the lineup and they figure out the lines from there. Does Parsonen play, whatever the lines are right now, first line, second line center, right? That would be interesting to keep an eye on. Or do they completely mix it up? Does Mika go back to center? That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Let me know how you feel about Carson Soucy, Alexis Lafreniere, and Igor Shesterkin as well. Let me know how you feel in the comments. As the conversation always continues there, you can find us on X as well and TikTok. The links are in the description. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.